Because there's one sense of what's wrong if Bangalore sewage goes, to Kolar and Chikballapur. Uh, we're solving a real pain point for farmers. They are a valid kind of stakeholder in the state's water resources, so on and so forth. I think the argument that we are making here is once you start with the premise that the drought and the extreme crisis in Bangalore is a groundwater crisis, we're not talking about the Kaveri water coming through Bangalore's kidneys and going through to Kolar and Chikballapur, which is fine. What we are saying is of that quantum of groundwater that you're taking from the city's aquifers, if you don't actually reduce that burden significantly, you're going to keep hitting crisis because you've put such a high density of population on such a small, thin aquifer that you have to reduce that burden by half if at all you even want to kind of manage and not be lurching from crisis to crisis. So we are trying to think about the decentralized wastewater treatment and reuse as a solution to the groundwater crisis and not the larger part of water coming from Kaveri going to this thing, which is not the place where you're feeling the pain point. So to your
So
question,
both can happen.
so both can happen. So both can happen. But the argument is the decentralized STPs or the DSTPs are solving specifically the groundwater crisis pain point. So has anything changed? And I think exactly we have a feeling, and a lot, of course, more data is always welcome, that since the 2024 crisis, there's certainly a movement from thinking about these things as compliance, like we had to hold our nose literally and do this because we were mandated to, versus we became tanker dependent in the crisis because the wells dried up. And all of a sudden, our water bills went up 10x. And now, when your water bill has gone up 10x because you're buying tanker water, suddenly fixing your DSTP seems like not so bad an option. While when you're just pumping, everything's running, you're not really thinking about it. And so I think you certainly saw at least a realization that we can look at these as a resource instead of looking at them as a compliance issue. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. And also, there is, I mean, if you look at the change from the past 2 to 3 years after the crisis, there are conversations and interest coming from the apartment to improve their system. And there are ecosystem players also coming up, who are looking at how do you not just, STP vendors who just fix or come and run the system, but also innovations that can come in and, improve the quality so that more reuse can happen and all of that. So that is growing, and we see a lot of movement in the ecosystem to come together. And also an ask that's really coming from the ecosystem, hey, maybe having some sort of an incentive also coming in from, say, a BWSSB or a KSPCB to help in improving the STP, the DSTP would also further improve the efficiency of these systems.
So then let me understand the context, right? Tell me if I'm getting this right. So right now, people living in large apartments, say 100 units or more, most of them have a sewage treatment plant. They're legally mandated to have a sewage treatment plant within their premises. And they're also encouraged to reuse that water. And it's illegal to just let even that treated water just flow out of your system. But what you're saying is, so initially this was thought of was, okay, this is like a tax I'm paying, right? I'm generating all this wastewater, I have to do something. But as these apartments are dependent on borewells and tankers, it's not just a cost to run these sewage treatment plants, but if you can reuse that for your flushing, for car washing, landscaping, etc., you have to pay for lesser tankers.
Yes.
So there is a direct financial incentive for you. And all of us, like if you're in an apartment, you're paying those maintenance fees. That's what is going here, right? It's either going for your tankers or for this, outside of, paying for security guards, etc. And so there is complete rational financial incentive just for you to just get this right. And what we are saying is, because of the crises, because of more pain, when in a crisis we are paying way more for tankers. So getting this right means even in a crisis, are you using 2x of what you need or just exactly what you need, right? So you're saying broadly we are seeing this direction where there's more seriousness, more functional STPs. Perhaps we need to measure this a little more as a society, as a city, that like what's the actual number, how much, what's the ticker like every year? Is it going up or down? Is it ratcheting up in the summer or not? And so on. There's probably more work that needs to be done.